The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast this week, and I dare say it's gonna be the best episode ever. And
Wowee!
do you guys know why it's the best episode ever?
Why? Tell us why, Uncle.
Because
Tell us
I got
why.
two of my favorite people here.
What?
Yeah.
That's a lie,
Where?
and you know it.
Oh.
I don't see them anywhere.
Anyway, I'm your host JD, and Kyle and Dustin are here as well.
What up, Slapshot?
And it's me.
Neat.
We're recording this very late, and we're all very tired.
Yeah,
I'm not tired.
You know, hijinks ensue, I suppose. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some really awesome, fantastic, pilots, animated pilots, the best ever.
We went through our personal favorites and picked out the ones that were the very best.
Yeah, they're so good. I mean, it's literally a crime in some states that they didn't get made into full series.
Book 'em, boys.
I mean, how did these get passed over? They're so good.
They're amazing.
They're perhaps too good. Maybe that's why they just weren't understood in their
That's
time.
probably what the problem was. Kyle, start us out.
I don't have a list
Give
in
us
front of me.
give us a pilot to talk to.
I don't have a list in front of me, but
Should we talk about the Shizagi?
let's talk. Yeah, that one.
Oh, the shizzle what? So, let me take this one, you guys.
Oh god.
So, for those of you out there who don't know, the Shizagi was a pilot that aired on Kablam on Nickelodeon. It's CGI. It's about an animal of some sort. For those of you listening, take a couple minutes to look up the Shizagi. It's on YouTube. And
You'll be glad you
boy,
did.
you should all watch it. Yeah. It's about an animal called a Shizagi, who's the last of his species.
He's extinct. He's not
And
happy about it.
Yeah, and I don't like it. He's kind of a wisecracker. He's an animal with
That's
attitude.
his catchphrase.
And his human young child friend, whatever the hell his name is, I don't remember.
Let's just go with Chris. It's a good name.
They go into the jungle to find another Shizagi. There's like a guy on TV, and he's like, "Oh, I found a rare Shizagi."
And he's like way more animated than the actual two main characters for some reason.
Yeah, pretty much. So they go to the jungle. They just go to the middle of some jungle out there to find this Shizagi. So the Shizagi is not the last of his species anymore. But they get into some wild hijinks when they get there, don't they, boys and girls?
Yeah, against a matte painting of a forest.
Yeah. This pilot is a load of shit. I don't know if you wanted to keep up the facade that we enjoyed these shorts the whole episode.
No, yeah.
But the Shizagi is not very
Do
good.
you, have you noticed what day this episode comes out, everybody?
Monday. That's right.
Yeah, it's Monday. No, it's April Fool's.
And I guess we're the fools for sitting through this tripe.
You know, honestly, you're right. The joke's more on us for watching. No, so No, the title of this episode, it fooled you. It's not the best animated pilots, it's some of the worst we've seen.
Or maybe not all of these are like the absolute worst, but they're definitely ones that we have strong feelings about.
I have many strong feelings of them being the worst.
The Shizagi is one of my favorite bad things.
So
I don't know why.
A lot of these are like when Dustin does his cartoon streams, he likes to put these on, and I honestly don't know if you do it because you genuinely enjoy it, or you just enjoy when everyone like cringes in fear and of anguish when you do it.
Well, that's for me to know and everyone else to never find out.
It's true. It'll be life's eternal mystery.
But every now and then I break out the old Shizagi.
Oh,
gotta have your old standbys.
I hate the Shizagi.
The CG.
I literally hate everything about this pilot. Like I'm
like what? What do you mean? What's wrong with the Shizagi?
The Shizagi's voice, the Shizagi's attitude, the horrible dated 3D animation. The fact
I don't know what you're talking about.
The fact that the Steve Irwin stand-in is like way more over animated than the main two characters, and it bugs the crap out of me.
The human boy character is the blandest character I've ever seen in anything ever.
I love it's like, we need to go to the Amazon. And they're like, we can't go there. It's like, yeah, we need to get your dad's frequent flyer miles. And then they just go to the Amazon. Like you do.
He's such a wisecracker, that Shizagi.
I'd watch him every week.
I can barely watch him the once.
And yet we've watched it many times.
and yet I play it every time.
Exactly.
His design is very weird. He has like 3 antennas. He has a thigh gap.
I mean, he's kind of like a kangaroo, but a kangaroo weasel thing.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Daxter from Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, he has a similar voice. He's some kind of rodent thing. The only thing is, Daxter's endearing and very cool.
And the Shizagi is hated by all.
Very ugly.
He's hated by all mankind.
I don't know if there's anyone out there who's like, oh, what? You guys passed on the Shizagi? You're going to regret that one.
Yeah. I'm going to pass. I'm a hard pass.
Kyle, what did you think of the Shizagi?
I thought it was awful.
Wow. That's a good opinion on it.
Is the title
there
card...
really isn't a whole... there isn't a whole lot left to say about it.
Is the title card drawn and then the rest is CG or what? Because it looks slightly
the intro
better.
for it is in 2D. Yeah, and then the rest is that really shitty CGI.
It doesn't prepare you.
It's a boy named Brutus.
Brutus, that's it. Why did they name him that?
Such a marketable name.
It fits his design to a T.
Right. This short is just horrifying to look at. It's insulting to your vision.
Quick, rub this butter all over you.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite part is when they're rubbing the Shizagi in butter to get him out between the bars. and he manages to pull him out and he's like, I'm out! But then Brutus, the kid, is just all of a sudden in. It never shows him like go inside the cage. But then he's like, I am in? And it's like, wow, wow, wow.
What could possibly go wrong?
Such wacky antics, and we don't even need to animate.
Right?
I thought it was in poor taste to Steve Irwin. I didn't like it.
Well, this was long before he died.
Yeah, but it doesn't help.
It's in retrospect, it was in very bad taste, and they should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was this? I think this is like late 90s or very, very early 2000s.
Yeah, it had to be.
Because it was the last season of Kablam, but I don't know when that aired. It was when they didn't have Sniz and Fondue anymore, so they kind of were scrambling to have something to fill that last slot. So sometimes they had Race Rabbit, sometimes they had Jet Cat, and sometimes they just had weird pilots like this.
Like the Shizagi.
I love the Shizaki.
And I don't.
And I could talk about it forever, but I won't.
Three thumbs up.
We're gonna have a charity stream one of these days, and it's just gonna be Dustin having a marathon talk about the Shizgi in depth.
We'll do an exclusive Shizagi episode.
A deep dive
into every episode. We'll just commentate over all the episodes.
The whole one.
You know, we've talked about the Shizagi longer than the Shizagi cartoon is.
Yeah. So
let's move on to something else.
Well, I have a question.
I think I have a feeling what that question is.
Dustin, what is funny?
That is the $1 million question.
Because it sure isn't this short.
We never quite find out.
No, we don't.
So,
and I hate this thing. And I hate that you keep playing it.
So the cartoon What Is Funny was on Oh Yeah Cartoons on Nickelodeon. It's about a dog named Slap T. Pooch.
And he kind of became the mascot for a hot second.
For a very hot second. As in, some might say a millisecond even.
Like on the front of the Rugrats movie. I think it was about it.
Yeah, the Nick logo before the Rugrats movie had Slap T. Pooch in it. That Nickelodeon star.
Yeah. I just don't know at what point someone said, yeah, let's make like a 7-minute cartoon that has a cartoon character like pondering what constitutes as comedy.
I think it's a good concept. I think it's an interesting take that no one had done before. It's just that the short itself is very awkward. It's not even that bad a short, but it's one of my favorite things. It's more of a meme in my streams than anything. It's not like it's that bad. I mean, it's not good either, but
it's just like, did they expect to make a show out of this, or
yeah, how far could this concept reach?
Right. I don't get it.
He's a cartoon character pondering his existence, and then you can go into depth for that.
Yeah, I feel like there's potential there.
But it is squandered.
Yeah. So, for those not in the know, What Is Funny is about this stupid dog who goes around pondering what is funny, what constitutes humor. So he's asking the audience watching, like, oh, would it be funny if I did this? And then he, like, pulls his lips over his whole head and he sings
He looks like a fucking Cenobite from Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Awesome is not the word I'd use, but...
So the whole short is that. It's basically just him getting into shitty situations and saying, is this funny? Is this funny? I don't know. I'm asking.
And he never gets his answer.
It gets really old really fast.
It does.
Yeah.
And then there's like a farmer and his animals singing What Is Funny in the background.
Yeah, like over and over again. It's maddening. That's what they play in hell.
They would. This is what hell torture is like. They just play it on a loop.
You need to take the dog head and put it as a icon on Discord. That way we could use it if something is funny or not.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't know. I'm asking. Remind me to do that. I'll make an icon.
Okay.
Oh, man. So, again, there's not really a whole lot to say about this one. It's just some... I guess I get why he's asking if it's funny, because it isn't. None of it's funny.
Right? He needs to find out to make it funny.
Is this funny?
You didn't think
you
didn't think the prison rape was funny?
Oh yeah, the scene where he gets locked up with criminally insane gingerbread men. That was pretty random.
Yeah.
The short was made by Vincent Waller, who worked on Ren and Stimpy, SpongeBob, all sorts of stuff. And you can't win them all.
Well, speaking of shorts made by people of interest, Seth MacFarlane had a short, and Butch Hartman made all the characters. Ooh. So those guys were best friends at one point.
It was a joint project between Butch Hartman and Seth MacFarlane called Zoomates.
Well, didn't I see Butch Hartman's name on What Is Funny too?
I mean, I'm sure he worked on it a little bit. I'm sure
he worked on a lot of cartoons, which is what this one is too.
Yeah, and it's a cartoon, all right.
Oh yeah, cartoons maybe did not have the same track record as What a Cartoon Show.
It's true. Not as many hits came out of that.
What are you talking about? We got Zoomates out of it.
We got one episode. So, Zoomates is a sitcom with a laugh track about
an animated
sitcom about 3 animals put into an apartment to see if they can make it in the real world,
in the human world, in human realm.
And the polar bear is a giant asshole. The alligator's gay, and the ostrich has a big chin.
They have silly voices.
They sure do.
That's the characters.
Like, I feel this wouldn't be as bad if it weren't for the laugh track.
I think the laugh track is the only thing that makes it bearable. Because, like, there's no way that's a legit laugh. That's the thing. A lot of people complain when they put laugh tracks in cartoons, but I think at least sometimes it has to be ironic. Like, I don't think this was a, like, actual laugh track for this. This has to be, like, an ironic, we know this is stupid. This will help emphasize how stupid it is laugh track. I'm going to give them a little credit.
I only because it's Seth MacFarlane do I think maybe that's the case. But on the other hand, I'm sure like they're like, oh, Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones and all those old cartoons had a laugh track.
But I think that's why they did it here, is because they knew how stupid it was to have it in a cartoon like those. So they were like, yeah, that's stupid and funny. Let's put it in ours too.
Maybe. But
I mean, there's no way to know.
You get to see
unless we go talk to.
Right now.
Let's go ask Mr. MacFarlane himself. Hey, Mr. MacFarlane. Yes, hello. It's never mind. I was going to try to do a Seth MacFarlane impression. It's me, Brian. Whose leg do you have to hump to get a cartoon made around here?
But yeah, you get to see
April Fools, everybody. It was me, Dustin, the whole time. It wasn't really Seth MacFarlane.
I'm such a fool.
So kind of moving
Kyle is
moving more into the modern era. We get the Cartoon Network put a lot of pilots out in the last couple of years, and not a lot of them stuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be nice about them. I don't want to just be a huge. What?
It was like rapid fire. JD was like, "Do you know some bad pilots?" And I was just on rapid fire mode, listing all these
this one came out.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad ragging on ones like the Shizagi and What Is Funny and such, since those came out a long time ago. But these ones are more recent, made by people who are, working in the animation industry. So I want to be a little nice about
these people are still alive. So.
Yeah, these people are still alive and kicking.
Well, I mean, at least for the case of Paranormal Roommates, it's not bad. It's just like...
I didn't think it was
It's not really bad. It's just kind of boring.
A little.
There's a lot of jokes in it and a lot of humor, but none of it is funny at all. None of those jokes hit.
Well, what is funny?
I don't know. I'm asking.
That is a good question.
But
this is just another roommate's idea.
Yeah. I kind of like the concept though. Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster. I just like mythical creatures.
You just see you could just see the pitch meaning for this one. That was like, what if Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster were roommates? And they're like, bam, here's $1 million.
Genius. Here you go.
Here's a bag of money.
I found it incredibly weird that the theme song that they tried to put on this was exactly the IT crowd, right down to the pixels and everything.
Really?
Yeah. and I was just
Wow.
like, oh,
It's-
this is
It's like a cross between the IT crowd and like the X-Files, and it's
yeah. It was like almost 80% the same notes and everything for the
Wow.
fucking thing. It was so awful. But yeah,
They know what works. Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot to say about this one. I mean, I thought it was fine.
it's all right. It falls into the category that we're gonna be talking about a lot. Or I think it's a lot of regular show storyboarders tried to
Yeah, they all
Try
kind
their
of have
hand
that
at
same
something?
similar vibe.
yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to say about it? I don't really have anything to say about this one other than it all right.
yeah, it's okay. It's inoffensive. It's just kind of
They don't
It's-
really do much with the concept of Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster. They're just kind of roommates
yeah.
who
You could
make trouble.
you could exchange them out for literally anything else, and I don't think it would affect the plot at all.
Yeah, the plot was like they needed to get along and be normal while their human roommate was at work.
They're in witness
And that's about
protection
it.
program for no apparent reason at all.
Oh, yeah, what did they see?
I guess they were on TV and that's why they were discovered. I don't know.
Well, that makes sense, but yeah, I feel like there's some potential there, but maybe the pilot just didn't explore it well enough.
Yeah.
There was some potential, but boy did they not get near it.
Oh,
You guys want to talk about butts?
okay.
Oh, boy.
When do I ever not?
Someone explain to me what the hell Bottom's Butte is. Like, I watched it and I still don't really fully understand what I watched.
It's in the theme song. The llama had a bun too tight and it broke her brain. And now she's crazy.
And now she's lol random.
Yeah, now she's lol XD.
It's just the problem with stuff like this that I really absolutely hate is they're like, oh yeah, this character's rich, so they can do anything. But then they need to get
Yeah.
money for... The whole plot about it is them getting money, which I don't understand.
Those 1%ers, am I right?
Fuck
Yeah.
the system.
But this was definitely... This had to have been... this is like the girls' version of regular show.
Yeah. I didn't care for this one. I didn't really like the art style. I thought the humor was not that great. But I really hate this trend of shows that are just weird for the sake of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like characters that are just random things. Like one's a llama, one's a peanut, one is like a slug or whatever. And it's just like, hey, we can do whatever. Who cares?
It takes no imagination to think of something like this, but it's the type of thing where someone like a normie would look at this and go, who thinks of stuff like this?
What, were they on drugs or something?
Right? But yeah, I don't know, it's to me something like this is incredibly easy to make. I don't know.
Just have two weird creatures or whatever. Like, look, I have a set of car keys, and they're roommates with a can of LaCroix, and now they're going to go bowling, but they run into this giant
The jock.
steak person. Yeah.
Dustin,
He
are these
says
things
you
in your
can't win
room?
the bowling.
Yes. I have a giant steak person right next to me.
Oh, cool.
He says you can't win the bowling tournament, and they say you're on, and then with
They say,
wacky
"Oh
shenanigans, they win.
yeah."
You guys just pitched a number one rated show. Here's $1 million.
Yeah, I've seen regular show.
I could write a show. Like, it's hard.
I mean, I just hate that I hate things that are just weird for the sake of weird, no reason for any of this.
But
Nothing goes together.
Yeah.
but
It
Dustin,
doesn't,
you love jammers though.
Well, hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done giving Bottoms Butte the business yet.
The business.
Well, now I lost my train of thought. Now I might be finished.
Sorry.
No.
It has butt twice in the name.
It
That's
sure
how you
does.
know it's good.
That's the joke.
But
The title's on her butt.
I get it. It's funny. Now that you explained it to me.
Now we know what's funny. He can stop asking.
Like, I don't know. I don't like to rag on creators, and I'm sure this person's very nice, but it just doesn't gel with me. What I was going to say earlier is something that's become increasingly more important to me is the concept of theming in an original piece.
Yeah.
I feel it's not really something I thought about before, but I feel like you really need to have some sort of strong central theme to keep everything anchored to.
Sure.
Otherwise, you just get like nonsense like this. You just get like weird, and that's it. The concept is weird stuff. Weird characters saying and doing weird things.
You compare this to Apple and Onion because they came out at the same time, I think. With Apple and Onion, you have a whole world made of food and stuff, and that works.
Yeah,
but
that has a theme that you can kind of anchor yourself to.
Yeah.
So, like, it's weird, but not so weird that it doesn't feel cohesive.
Yeah.
And that weirdness can shine a little stronger because you have something that's considered normal in this world. I feel like if a world is just weird for the sake of it, then how is the actual weird stuff going to stand out?
I think that's what was great about regular show too, because the main characters were kind of animals and different stuff, but then they lived in a world of people, but it was never brought up.
Yeah. I would say Adventure Time is kind of weird for the sake of weird, but it feels like it fits together. Like it feels like it's kind of this weird fairy tale world.
Yeah, the world feels cohesive for the most part.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, this character's... Well, I feel like I was going to say they wouldn't have stuff like a character just being a llama and one being a living peanut, but I mean, Adventure Time kind of would do that now that I think about it. But something about... I guess Adventure Time presents itself as a fantasy world where this stuff can happen.
Right.
Whereas stuff like this, it's just like a normal world, but with weird stuff in it.
Right.
It doesn't really go together. And I mean, I'm not going to tell the creators and writers what to make. If that's what they want to make, then good on them. But personally, I think it kind of detracts from the show a little.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing to remember is that I'm sure everyone who, put a lot of time and effort into these shorts, but in the end, like, not everyone's going to like it, and not every one of them can be a winner.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, like, oh, your hard work was in vain. It looks like you guys spent 2 minutes making this cartoon. No, I'm sure all of these had lots of hard work and love put into them, even if they didn't gel with me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a difference between saying, well, this is bad because I didn't like it, but then also we're offering constructive criticism in a sense to say, well, this is what would make it better.
Exactly. Like, I didn't like this, but I'm sure the people making it, I'm sure this is what they wanted to make, and I would never tell them to make something they didn't want to make.
Right.
And, like I said earlier, I don't want to be too mean about these, even if I didn't care for them, since I do want to keep that hard work in mind. But, like you said, they can't all be winners.
Right, yeah. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
I feel like this one's probably... I feel like I would have said this was one of my least favorite ones, but I don't know. It's harmless enough, I guess. It's just kind of weird and stupid.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird and stupid, let's move on to Jammers that you were so eager to talk about.
I was trying to make a segue earlier, but
Yeah, and that didn't
What's a
work. Now did
Segway?
it?
The thing that mall cops drive.
Wrong. You were supposed to say, oh,
Bart.
about 8 pounds.
Okay.
But bump. Psh.
Um,
Uh,
I really don't like jammers. Again, this is what the creator wanted to make, and that's awesome. But I don't like the world or the comedy or the setup for this. It doesn't gel with me.
For me, it's a been there, done that. We got the mean kids and the nerds. The mean kids mean to
Yeah.
the nerds, and it's like, okay, I've seen this before, but with this, it's weirdness
It's
for the
also
sake
ugly.
of weird. Yeah, the art style I don't care for, and I've seen the person they do comics and stuff, and it's in the same style, and but
Not your thing.
no, the humor, none of it hit for me at all. It really is weird for the sake of weird.
I
There's a lot of
feel like
random noises.
I feel like this one has a more grounded world than Bottom's Butte. While Bottom's Butte's like world was weird for the sake of weird, I feel like this one's humor was weird for the sake of weird.
Yeah, like the main
Yeah.
character, like they have a weird frog friend that you only see from one side, and it's her subconscious as a character that can interact with other people, and is a floating head.
Here's the thing. Here's my opinion on jammers. It's not good. It's very ugly. It's off-putting, but I think it's at least a little more interesting than a couple of the others on this list. Because it at least has a style that it sticks to.
I will give it
that. It knows what it is.
Yeah.
It knows what it is. It has its own style that's different from other stuff out there. And it at least goes all the way with it.
I will give it that. It stylistically stands out, and it proudly states, this is what we are, and we're not, and this is what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it. I don't like what it's doing, but I guess I respect it enough.
Sure.
There you go.
Those of you listening, don't feel like you have to go watch it. It's not. I mean, you can if you want, but you're not really missing much if you.
Right.
You can live a happy, full life without ever seeing it.
Yeah. I don't like that one kid can just like magically turn into stuff for no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not explained. It's no one else can do it. If that was just like a thing anyone could do, then I could buy it. But this one kid seems to be the only one who could do it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Like
I'm not gonna be like, oh, it has to be realistic. I can accept that. Oh, he can just do this.
And I think that might be part of the problem of just like these pilot things is a lot of they have a lot of these weird concepts, but because it's just an 8-minute short, they don't really have time to like get into the reasons or the logic behind a lot of it. You're supposed to just like kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
And maybe there is no explanation or anything for it.
I mean, that's also true. Yeah, there could just not be an explanation for it.
Yeah, I mean, if they just want to do weird for the sake of weird, I mean, you do you.
Yeah.
I won't tell them what to make, but from what I've seen, I feel like of these pilots, this one was the most
off-putting.
Or it seemed like this one got the most complaints. Like the other pilots had some fans, but it seemed like no one really cared for this one.
I actually have a friend that loved this and
oh really?
Was just talking such high praise about it, but then again, they also were friends with the creators, so I don't know if that's a bias or not.
Well, whatever people's tastes are. I won't rag on people. Like I said, I respect this one more than a couple other ones. You can at least see an identity in it.
Yeah.
What's next on the list? I think we've said all we have
Yeah.
to say about Jammers. It's about an ugly girl who doesn't want to be ugly, but she remains ugly.
Yeah, and learns to love herself.
Yeah, because Lord knows none of us did.
It's
Just
so
like in real life.
out of all of the pilots here, AJ's Infinite Summer is the only one I could actually see like being a show,
something.
only because of how it's set up. Where because like it's basically set up where the main character is like, I'm gonna do a thing. And he's like, today I'm gonna go get a job, and it's like, okay, so that's how your show would be set up. Like every episode, he's like, I'm gonna go do this thing, and then crazy shit ensues.
It's
I haven't seen such a thrilling, interesting show since Doug.
I mean, I'm not saying it's wholly interesting. I'm just saying I could see how, if it were turned into a series, how it's structured would be set up.
it's like
Yeah.
There's a lot of these
Remember-
pilots where I could see is like, oh, okay, that was that was a short, but I don't see how that could carry a series.
Yeah, I feel you.
I
Do you
just
guys
see it as
remember a long time ago when I said I respect Jammers more than other shows on this list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
AJ's Infinite Summer is the number one one I was thinking of. Again, no offense to the creator, but I just thought this one was insanely dull.
yeah, it's
I thought it was the most boring pilot I've ever seen. That's hyperbole, but I did not think it was very interesting.
yeah, it's pretty boring, to be honest.
Of
I
the ones
just-
on this list, I would say this is the most boring one for me.
Yeah,
I say it's just a bland Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah. And I'm already
Uh,
not the biggest Phineas and Ferb fan, so
yeah, it's a
I
pretty
don't
good
know.
comparison.
I don't quite remember it, but the one
it
thing
didn't leave a strong impression.
well for this one, I don't remember if the off-putting thing to me was it didn't have music or something like
Did
that.
it not? I didn't even notice.
I don't know, because it was like the characters were just talking, and it was, for me, it's just really bland dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's written in that Adventure Time style where you were talking on the last short, where they're like, "Hey, dude," and stuff like that.
Oh god, we'll get to that.
That's kind of how they were talking in that, and it's just okay. That's cool, I guess.
We know how teenagers
yeah,
talk.
This
See,
one is just
I
very bland.
I didn't even realize that. I feel like it just didn't even sink in for me. It just went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Because, like, with the last show we'll talk about later, I noticed right away, and that stuck with me. But with Ages Infinite Summer, now I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, I don't even remember. I don't remember anything they said.
Yeah. I think that I think this was another regular show person.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think I heard that. I feel like I'd like it maybe a little more if the art style was a little different. I feel like the art style being kind of boring, along with the dialogue not being super interesting, really did not work
Or-
well together.
Or the concept not being all too interesting. It's another thing where
Yeah.
it's like anything can happen, and
Yeah. I really don't have anything else to say about AJ's Infinite Summer.
Well, then we can talk about riding with Burgess.
Oh, can we?
I mean, if you want.
Can we
if you
please
want
talk
to.
about riding with burgers?
Burgers. I do like burgers,
This
but Burgess not so much.
I did not enjoy this one.
it
There's a
was-
shock.
this
like
one
a
felt
theme or
like it
something.
was- This one, it felt like it was trying to ape off of Napoleon Dynamite with the sci-fi setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And then mix in
It's
a
like,
little
oh,
bit
this
of hip-hop.
this character's awkward and dorky, but he's cool. He's hip. He's tries to be hip hop and cool. And he's a very off-putting character.
But he's in space.
That's where a lot of the problem with these things are. A lot of the stuff, there is another theme where all the main characters are extremely unlikable too.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of because like there's this one. I don't think the girl in Jammers was that bad, but she wasn't really good.
The only thing I would say is I kind of like the dog from What Is Funny. If he was in a better cartoon, maybe it would work. But
He kind of has a nice design.
yeah,
Are you guys telling me you did not think the Shizagi was likable?
No, he's
No.
a dick.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. End the podcast now. I can't deal with
Oh.
this. I won't take this slander on my boy, the Shizagi.
scheduling issues. Dustin is off.
I gotta go.
But no, Riding with Burgess, not my favorite.
He saves the world with
I-
corned beef, and corned beef is gross.
It sure is. The designs didn't really do much for me. I didn't like their big ol' eyes. I wouldn't say any of the characters were really that. Look, I get not every show has to have like attractive characters or appealing characters. You know, Klasky Supo made a career out of having very unappealing looking characters.
I just feel like a character's got to be marketable at least.
Kinda,
I don't-
yeah.
I don't
We
know
don't
if
need
that
another
makes
Brothers
sense or not.
Grunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like none of the characters in this are marketable, and I know I feel kind of scummy saying they should be marketable, but like, do you really see any of these characters anywhere else? Do you want to
Are
see
you
them
saying you
appear on
don't
anything?
want a Burgess t-shirt or an action figure? Because I sure don't.
I don't know if it'd be at the top of Santa's list for me.
The top of mine.
But I mean, like, if you really do think of other stuff, I mean, Adventure Time, I could see owning like a Finn shirt and stuff. He's a fun, likable character. You look at other stuff, like, I don't know, Billy and Mandy, I would like to own something of that.
Yeah, definitely.
But with
You
like,
want to have characters you can at least kind of market to people.
yeah,
Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say you have to. Because that's the thing. I keep trying to stop myself from saying you have to make it this way, you have to make it that way. But
I mean,
I just don't see an audience for a show like this.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but at least have a character that's likable.
Yeah, I don't want to watch. Try to have characters that you want to actually watch, that you want to spend time with. I
You wanna
don't want
be
to
on
see
their
any more
side.
Burgess adventures.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the story. Oh, aliens.
He's like an Earth ambassador or
He's
something.
named- That's it. That's it.
He had to entertain Bobcat Goldfight as a lizard.
Yeah. Bobcat the alien.
And apparently he entertained him with the sandwich, because sandwiches are just so fucking entertaining.
I guess so.
It's funny because it's food. Oh, can I just say I'm really sick of anthropomorphic food characters.
Yeah?
I feel like lots of pilots have them now.
That's like a gut punch for me, man.
Well, it's different for you.
I think
But I
Dustin
mean-
means like it's literally a food with a face on it.
I know, I'm just...
Like the
I'm just-
peanut person from Bottoms Butte.
I'm just being
What's
silly.
some other ones? Danger and Eggs. I hear Danger and Eggs is good, but that's when I started being like, I think I'm sick of anthropomorphic food characters.
Well, there's Apple and Onion.
Apple and Onion, yeah.
Peppermint Butler.
Pickle Rick.
Oh my god.
Great.
Oh, that's my favorite. Let's do a Pickle Rick episode.
We're just gonna do it
That's
on
what we
that
should
one
have.
episode.
I'm Pickle Rick, Morty.
God.
Big reveal.
Let's move on to the next one. I have nothing left to say about Burgess
So-
Man.
This next one I think is in contention for grossest short that we
Oh, here we
watched
go.
only because it involves a giant shit meteor.
I made sure to put this one on the
You
list.
sure did. Potty Horse.
There's
Potty Horse is another one that's populated by
Weird.
random characters made of things.
Weird for the sake of weird. So
Yeah.
here's a writing tip. In the beginning of this, the character is messing around with a terrarium, the little heart character, and they make like a creepy little foreshadowing thing, and then it's never brought up again. And it's like, why
It was just
that
for the
even
sake
needed?
of being weird.
Exactly. How recent was this, though? Because this had the new Frederator logo.
This was last year.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big
There's
yikes
some-
for me.
There's some shorts that I watch. Every now and then I'll see a pilot where I'm like, is this really what they wanted to make? Like, was this their big go-to idea? That they really... Is there someone out there who really wanted to make this idea of a horse that you shit in its back?
Dustin, he's a horse, but he's also a sheriff, and he's also a toilet.
You're right. Now that you say that, I love it.
And like, I have to ask:
I didn't love it before.
Is he like the only toilet this town has? Because like literally everyone just goes up to him and saying that they have to go.
They said that.
Yeah, he's the only one in town.
That's horrible. That's a horrible existence. And where's the shit go once they shit in him?
He just flushes it, and that's it.
But where does it go?
It's like when you digest. It's like when you digest food.
I guess. I don't know. I'm thinking too hard about this.
The human body is a beautiful thing.
It's sure, but
It'd
he's
be
a horse
funny
body.
if this was like. It'd be funny if this was a completely different idea, but due to executive meddling, became this.
I get it.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is not a great one.
Yeah.
This is I try to be a little lenient on these, but this one I don't think I can give it to this one.
No, potty horse is just weird.
It's not a concept that should have ever been a thing. How do you make something out of this concept? I guess the answer is you don't.
I mean, they made something.
That's true. They did technically make a short.
You make all the antagonists or all the threats to the city poo-poo and pee-pee based, and then there you go. There's your show.
Oh yeah, and then they just had like the random villager people. This was another one where like all the people in the city were just like living objects. I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of living objects and food. Just they don't have to be human, but just make it
Consistent.
not living thing. Yeah.
And why is everyone in the town an asshole to him?
Yeah.
Because he's a toilet. That's what assholes are for.
I guess, but like everyone's just like, it's like he's in charge of a town of children.
Just
Yeah.
like in real life.
Oh. Who was this supposed to appeal to?
Internet people, I guess.
What's the target audience
What's the target
for
demographic
Potty
of this?
Horse? Can we sell this in stores?
I want a potty horse
could
action
sell-
figure.
Yeah, they
I want a
could sell-
potty horse toilet.
Buy yours today.
Oh man.
Um,
They sure named it appropriately because boy was this one a stinker.
whoa.
Flush this one down. P.U.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do. You guys have anything left to say about
I'm
Potty
good.
Horse?
Shit comment.
This is probably one of the worst ones on this list,
yeah.
I would say.
I don't even know. Is it bad because it relied on potty humor? Or was it just because it was just very weird and not really nicely written?
Both.
Pretty much, it's just awkward. It's not funny. It's not really enjoyable. It's like I'm fine with toilet humor when it's done well, but this one,
Tastefully.
like, yeah, this one was just like the very basic. Oh, he's a toilet, and character go poo poo inside of him.
That's the joke.
That's
And
about right.
the asteroid is made of poop as well. That's funny.
Yeah.
They could have just made it a big butt and called it the asteroid.
They even make that joke. One of the characters says asteroid, and it's like, well, that it would be funny if it were just a big ass.
But it's a giant flaming poo.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it still wouldn't have been very funny if it was an ass, but at least you would get, at least the pun would work.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a good one. Not a good one. Let's move on to one that's slightly better.
Yeah, the longest short that we watched, and one I keep forgetting.
Oh, are we already? Are we already at the Groovenian?
We sure are.
Wow.
So, like, I don't think this is wholly bad. I think it has an interesting style to it, but
Yeah,
it's like artsy weird, I guess.
It's very heavy-handed.
Yes,
with its
that's
message.
a good way to put it.
Well, I'm
the
wondering
man
too,
keeping us free spirits down.
I'm wondering if a lot of the designs were kind of limited to the technology they had, like say the bad guy, where he's very blocky and stuff. I'm wondering if it could have been a bit better.
I actually think the CGI is pretty good for the time. The other characters are all pretty expressive. It's smooth looking. It's not like the best CGI, but I think
it's no
given the
Shizagi.
time it came out, it's definitely no Shizagi.
I think all the characters look fine. It's just the robot or the bad guy.
Yeah,
it's just kind of
how they're so like limited animation on them.
Yeah,
dance loops.
Yeah, that's really its only big crime is how heavy-handed it is. Because I actually like a lot about this. I like that it has the B-52s doing the theme. I like the character designs.
Paul Rubens.
Yeah, Paul Rubens is in it. It's kind of fun. I kind of like it.
I dig it.
Again, it's one that has an identity.
Yeah. I think
more...
I think this one kind of overstays its welcome a little bit because it is a full 22-minute episode. I think this could really benefit from being cut in half.
Yeah, I agree. The first half doesn't really go anywhere.
It drags a bit.
They don't reach Groovenia until the second half.
You could cut out the whole wedding thing, or at least
yeah,
put
they have that
in
whole
the
wedding. You could just cut that out, and it wouldn't really matter much. That doesn't really contribute to the big story at hand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it kind of does, but it's not big enough. I feel like you could work your way around it.
You could start it off with the wedding and be like, no, I don't want to get married to this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something.
Or just cut a lot of it out. You could still have the wedding scene, but have it just go by a lot faster.
Yeah, there's definitely ways to speed that up to,
Yeah. But overall, I would say I enjoy watching this one. Out of all the pilots on this list, I would say this one's probably my favorite. That doesn't make it good, but I do have a soft spot for it. It's kind of fun to watch.
Out of everything on the list, it has the most potential.
Yeah, which is weird because I feel like it's one of the ones that get like the most shat on online. Like I see a lot of people talking shit about the Groovenians, but it really isn't that bad.
I mean, it tried to.
Yeah,
It tried to be a little unique.
what's weird is it aired on Adult Swim once. There was a period of time in its early days where Adult Swim would air like random specials every now and then. I guess they still kind of do that, but they had I don't know if they were pilots or just specials, but they would just air them every now and then. This was one of them, but then like a year later, they just aired it on normal Cartoon Network, which I think works because it's not like there's anything too adult in it.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know who this is marketed for, because it's like, on the one hand, yeah, there's something gratuitous that would warrant it needing to be on Adult Swim, but it's also like the theme of it really doesn't fit Cartoon Network.
It doesn't appeal to children.
Exactly.
Well, you have older characters and stuff like that, and they're not too appealing for kids, but maybe to teenagers and up.
Maybe.
So that's where it's kind of weird.
Maybe it would work better nowadays, now that Cartoon Network does kind of skew for a slightly older audience with like Adventure Time and regular show and stuff.
Maybe
Something like this would have a bigger audience nowadays.
I could see it being a real show on something like back when Fox Family was a channel or something like that.
Oh,
just
God.
kind of an off-brand channel.
The weird shows with weird CGI like Weirdos and Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, God.
Yep. That's the first time I saw the Donkey Kong cartoon was on ABC Family. Or Fox Family.
I love the Donkey Kong Country cartoon.
Unironically.
That's my favorite. It started ironically. It started out, oh, this sucks, I love it. Now I think I just legit enjoy watching it.
Musical numbers and all?
Well, because I love the games. Donkey Kong Country is my favorite Nintendo franchise ever. So the things that are different about the show are entertaining. Like, it's funny seeing the things they change and do wrong. But, well, okay, it's not a good show, but I feel like it's not as bad as people say it is.
Sure.
But this is getting way off topic. Let's save it for the Donkey Kong Country episode.
Totally.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, we had two more after that, I think, right?
Yeah, Kyle, tell us what Nikki is about.
I couldn't tell you. I stepped out.
You were the one who wanted to watch it.
Cool,
I
awesome. That was his
weird.
plan this whole time.
It was hilarious. It was a good plan.
It was very funny. April Fools. I guess we're the fools.
I don't know. It was like, I think you were saying it was like made by the same people who made Mike, Lou, and Og.
It looked like it.
It looks like it.
It kind of does.
And it was just like these two kids that followed this like lady who broke up with her boyfriend and like trying to like help her out, but when it doesn't work, they get all pissed off about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I don't get where you were going with this.
It was like around the same time, I think, of the really weird hand-drawn shows like Mike, Lou, and Og and Robot Jones.
Yeah.
It has a similar feel to that. But I remember it
I'm going to
not
be
being
perfectly
very
honest
good.
with you guys. I was kind of dozing off in the middle of this one. I wasn't paying super close attention.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it. It was kind of boring, but it kind of had a style.
That's where it's like, I feel like if something's kind of boring like that, where you're just not into it, it doesn't do its job.
Yeah,
I feel like it's its job to entertain you, and if it's not doing that, then
and it doesn't leave an
first
impression
fucking
on
rule.
you.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a more slice of life sort of thing. You know, more
But
grounded in reality, kind of.
Which is fine.
Even something...
I feel
even
like so
something
many
like
other things do it better.
King of the Hill is like ultimate slice of life. It still manages to be entertaining, though.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't really that funny. I kind of liked the style, but not enough to be super into it. Because the way I see it is, if something's well written, then great. But I feel like something can either be well written or look really good, and I'll be into it. It doesn't need to be both. But this one was boring, and the art style wasn't quite good enough to keep me reeled in.
Right.
But it wasn't awful. I thought it was fine enough for what it was.
Yeah.
Probably would not choose to watch it again, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, I hated this.
Yeah.
It was fine enough.
Um.
But you know what one I did hate?
So our last pilot for today, one that I kind of feel a little bad ragging on, only because rather than coming from like a big studio, is obviously someone's like indie project.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad that I hate this so much because this was someone's like project that they made, that they loved and put a lot of time and effort and money into, and I just thought it was the absolute worst one. It's not the ugliest one. I would say, like, of all of the shorts, this one maybe looks the most professional. Well, at least given what it is, the fact that it's like an indie project. But it's so obnoxious. Oh, we didn't even say what it was. It's the pilot Welcome to Showside. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like such a jerk ragging on it because
no, its design is just like it's Tumblr the show.
It basically does not at all hide the fact like that. Oh, we saw Adventure Time. We love it. Let's make a show like that.
More or less.
And like the characters, like Kyle was saying earlier, they're the kind of characters who, they call each other dude, and they're real laid back, and they play video games, and they eat waffles.
There's even a part where it's like, this portal looks like it's for a video game. But I like video games.
I like video games.
It's like, oh, that's one of your defining character traits, I guess.
Yeah. I relate to video game boy.
I just think this kind of falls into the modern animation tropes too, or the modern cliches where it really is kind of like Adventure Time light in a sense. But I was kind of having problems with the character designs too, because you have a character that, I don't know, it seemed like a witch, right?
Yeah.
Like some kind of spellbook type character. So she's wearing a skull.
One with the big hair and the glasses?
Yeah, so she's got this skeleton shirt, and it's like, alright, that's cool. But then in her hair, she has ladybugs as these things in her hair, and it doesn't, like, mesh well. It doesn't, as far as, like, reading well into that character, it doesn't make sense to me of how it's designed.
Yeah, like...
It didn't bother me when I watched it, but now that you say that, now I have a problem.
Because I kind of see Kyle's point, because I feel like one of the things I've always been taught about like basic character design is that you should be able to look at a character and without any explanation, like, generally figure out what they're about. And what Kyle's saying is that, like, she's got a skeleton shirt, but has, like, ladybug hair things. Is like, I couldn't tell you anything about that character if I not had any kind of prior knowledge.
Yeah.
No, if she wasn't holding a spell book, you wouldn't know that she's like into that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I will say she's probably the least offensive of the three characters. I thought she was fine.
She's played as a straight man, so she's not in that extreme.
She talks like a normal person. She doesn't talk like a extreme character.
Extreme.
Yeah, because you got the little fish boy demon or whatever, and he's like the Beast Boy type character. To the point
pretty
where
much.
He's even designed like Beast Boy.
Yeah,
but
he's wacky and he likes video games.
Yeah, he's wacky. You can tell he doesn't have a very high IQ because he's entertained with really dumb stuff.
He's the Finn of the show.
Yeah. And
but
then you have
without any of the charm.
then you have the other character, which is another extreme, where she looks like a sweet little princess, but she's the butt kicker, and that's another modern trope too.
Yeah, and she brings in the waffles.
Yeah.
I remember when LOL Waffles was a joke back in 2001.
Random.
And I don't even know, like, if that was supposed to be the main antagonist, or if that was just, like, something.
They don't really give you a whole lot of details about it. They just kind of throw you into this situation.
And then they keep bringing up Fish Demon Boy's dad, but then they never explain it. And it's just, there's a lot going for it, but nothing's really explained in 8 minutes.
Yeah, I hate the way Fish Boy talks. He says stuff like, "You know my pops. He just wants a lot out of me."
He's got expectations.
It's kind of the same reasons why I find the DuckTales show a little off-putting too, because that's kind of how they are.
I haven't watched enough to really grasp that, but I get what you're saying. Because the way they talk in this short, I feel like is what drives me up the fucking wall more than anything.
But it's like, I don't know if it's just because it's not marketed to us and that's the problem, or
Probably.
I don't know if kids actually love stuff like that. It's a really weird thing because you have someone our age making this for kids a different age, and then you have someone like us watching it and criticizing it, whatever, but that's where it gets weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it just feels like... I mean, Adventure Time did it well. I like Adventure Time enough, but things like this just feel so derivative of it, and it feels like everything obnoxious about this era of cartoons condensed into one package.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good way of putting it.
I don't want to just, label it as like a Tumblr cartoon or anything like that, but it really is the best example I can think of those tropes. God, I don't even know how to explain. Well, I guess we already explained it, but just the way the characters talk, the way they look, the art style looks kind of like the girl with the glasses. She looks like pretty close to Connie from Steven Universe. And I don't know, it just has that like super rounded look. I'm just a rambling fool rambling about how much I don't like this.
It looks like every other show that's out right now.
It's made where it's supposed to be inoffensive, but that's where it comes off as extremely offensive. In a sense, if that makes any sense at all.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
It feels like a very play it safe kind of cartoon.
Yeah,
and that's
like this is what's very popular now. This is what all the artists on Twitter are drawing like. This is what people like to see.
Yeah.
I also don't like the villain. I don't like I'm sick of the concept of, oh, it's this scary, horrifying beast, but look, they're doing a day job. Ha ha, it's like normal.
That I don't like. I also don't like where it's like, look, they made a big old baby and we gotta fight a baby. To me, something like that is just Even to fight a giant monster is kind of just meh to me now. It happens so much.
If I'm cool with giant monsters. I like giant monsters, but I guess I'm sick of a bunch of smaller things combining into a larger version of thing.
So what you're saying is you didn't like the end of Wreck-It Ralph 2?
I didn't like that movie to begin with.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
You sure did.
I actually, it doesn't do much for me in Wreck-It Ralph 2. I'm not super not into it, but it is a little old.
Did you guys notice that the worms were exactly the same design as Adventure Time,
Yep.
except they're a different color.
More or less.
They were literally exactly the same. I remember when Adventure Time did it.
Because, I mean, worms are pretty, interesting to draw, but it's really weird when you draw a worm with a big round head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, this show was made into a comic. I don't know if the comic came first or the pilot was first. I don't know if the comic's any better. I'm willing to bet that it's not. But you never know. Maybe the comic was made after the pilot and he was like, okay, well, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, so let's kind of hone in on what works.
Right, yeah.
But part of me wants to say the pilot was made after the comics. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
the comics might be even more obnoxious. That's the main word I use to describe this short. It's so obnoxiously inoffensive.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the same old shit we've seen condensed into its strongest form, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hate this so much. And
No offense.
it's like I was saying, I feel bad about it because I don't want to rag on the creator. Again, more power to him making what he wants to make. I would never go to his home and tell them, you don't make this, Mr. Guy. Make something
Stop
that
it.
appeal to me. But, I'm still going to rag on it.
There you go.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of all this. I don't want anything more like this.
Right.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the casual attitude, the overly casual, laid-back attitude. Like, while fighting these monsters, they're just like, ha, let's go, dude. Yeah, video games.
Like, not wholly invested in what's going on.
That's what made me stop being so into Adventure Time after a while. Like, the first few seasons,
Adventure Time
the
just got
characters are, like,
weird.
super into... Yeah. The first few seasons, the characters are super into what they're doing, and that makes you as a viewer care. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can see they're really into what's going on.
Mhm.
But, like, sometime into the series, I think around season 5 or 6, I first noticed in the episode Red Starved, where they were, like, stuck in a cave, and they had to get Marceline something to eat before she ate them or something.
Mhm.
And Finn finds this, like, underground civilization, and original Finn would be like, whoa, awesome, mathematical rhombus. But this Finn was just like, ha, an underground city. Cool, whatevs. And that's just the way everyone was around that time. Everyone was so disinterested in the world around
Just
them.
chillax, bro.
Was
Yeah,
that the
I
one
get
where...
that they were trying to make the characters chill and, laid back, but I feel like they did it to the detriment of the show, where it's like, well, why should we be interested if these characters aren't?
Legit, man.
And
Is
I
that the
and I
one
get
where-
that from this too, where the character, maybe not so much because I don't really have anything to compare it to. Like Adventure Time, they started out really into it and then got way too laid back. This one, it's not as bad as it got, but still pretty, like, oh, they're just making jokes, saying stupid shit while fighting this monster.
Mhm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Was that the episode where...
But sorry,
Finn
I've
finds out?
ranted and raved too long about
It's
this.
okay. Well, I think we can put you out of your misery.
Thank you. Please kill
No,
me.
maybe not that much, but I think we've said enough about these pilots to...
No, I want to
You
say
know,
more.
Yeah. I said it multiple times, but I just want to say, no offense to the creators of these shorts.
I've
Yo,
got more to
I'm not
say.
here to railroad you and say you suck. They just weren't for me.
Right, exactly. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that greatly enjoyed the works, but
There was one other one I wanted to talk about that we didn't get around to watching.
which one?
Did you guys see that back-to-back space one?
Yeah.
It was about the girl who was like in a world where like deleted things go.
Mm-hmm.
Was it that adventure? No, it was a Chalk Zone mixed with whatever.
Yeah, she had like red hair and she had like a monkey and dog sidekicks.
Oof.
I hated that one almost as much as Welcome to Showside.
I told JD to put that on the list.
I thought.
Oh, you should have.
I forgot. I'm
Oh
sorry.
well. But it's no
Fucking
big.
jerk.
It just wasn't very good.
Yeah, like everything else.
That's all. Yeah, that's all we have to say about
Yeah.
it. Well, I don't know
Whoops.
about you guys, but I love talking about these.
Sure.
Let's post this and link all the creators.
Oh yeah.
What a great
I'm gonna
idea!
tag everyone.
Someone get the creator of Shizagi on the horn. Let's kickstart a reboot.
Let's get him on for an interview.
What was your motivation for creating
This monstrosity.
this horrendous monster?
How,
crime
how
against
has creating the how has creating the Shizagi changed your life?
How has your sex life been affected by creating the Shizagi? Do you find yourself unable to perform unless you think about his big nose?
I mean,
He has a giant
I would-
Shizagi fursuit. That's the only way you can
Do you think people out there make Shizagi sodas?
I would try to pick up chicks at bars with that. You know, I created the Shizagi.
Like
Hey, it's me. You might remember me from the hit short The Shizagi.
And then they'll say the Shizahu, and then
Shizagi. That's my favorite part of the whole skit, is how angry the guy in the theme song is. Like, that short isn't funny, but that part is legit funny.
oh god. Well, everybody, there you go. Happy April Fool's Day or whatever. Yeah, there you go.
Before we leave, I have one last question for you guys.
What is that?
what is funny?
What is funny?
Well, it sure wasn't any of these shorts. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, shit. That was savage. JD, I don't know if any of these creators are going to like you saying that.
That's okay.
That's true.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all again next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch a new episode every week. Also be sure to follow us on our Facebook and Twitter so you can keep up with the show. Links are in the description. We'll see you next week.